Thank you for joining us, Cyrus.
Thank you for having me.
So, coronavirus, we can't avoid the topic. It's all over the news, the media, and there seems to be mixed reactions. Some people are really in panic mode, going full out, buying the masks, staying home, canceling trips, canceling events, and other people are kind of just dismissing it and kind of, they don't think it's a big deal. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think that this virus needs to be taken serious. I believe that we all need to kind of take a step back, calm down, and apply common sense. I believe that the measures that have been put into place, especially in Canada, seem to work. And globally, we are definitely in a much more advantageous situation compared to other countries. But it doesn't mean that we are protected. I believe that many measures we can now take into our own hands in a calm and focused way. I believe that reducing exposure by avoiding unnecessary public events, unnecessary travel is a very strong recommendation. Simply because every day we learn new things about what is going on, and by taking yourself out of that equation, you already have a huge advantage. On the other hand, I believe we should try and keep our immune system as active as possible right about now, starting today. In general, people always complain about the media creating a hype, but I think there is a very fine line between trying to inform people and then with all this load of information to create a frenzy. So you can't just say, oh, the media is blowing it out of proportion. There is a true need for us to take measures right now.
So being cautious, but not stressing and panicking.
Exactly. Stress is actually one of the biggest features of decreasing our immune activity. Right. So try and stay calm and apply real common sense to your situation and make the right decisions. And I think we will have to take decisions in one way or another coming over the next little while. I mean, right now it's March break. People have trips booked, and they are currently concerned whether they should or should not go. That's a decision everybody has to take for themselves. And I believe unnecessary travel today through airports in North America or into Europe should be strongly considered.
So you mentioned the immune system. Yes. Let's shift over to the immune system a little bit, because it's really key, right, to keep our immune system strong. So can you tell the listeners what role the immune system plays in fighting viruses and bacteria in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, I mean, the immune system is a hugely complex biochemical apparatus, and I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of ideas how this works in a regular way. Wherever our body is exposed to the outside world, we have immune system functions in place that applies to the skin, where we have a natural flora. Any mucous membrane, the mucus is actually a natural barrier to kind of keep pathogens on the outside. And then furthermore, on these membranes, within our mouth, nasal passages, but also the whole gastrointestinal tract, which is a tube exposed to the outside, we have all kinds of immune functions active and going. That includes immune globulins, antibodies, macrophages, lymphocytes, and a whole cascade of compartments that are there to detect, isolate, and kill or digest pathogens that have come to that point. The gastrointestinal flora is a huge part of our gastrointestinal immune defense. And finally, if something has found its way into our blood, there is another level and a much bigger level of immune system at work, including our white blood cells, killer cells, and lymphocytes. And they're all roaming around, looking, patrolling, and signaling between each other to kind of create and concert the best possible response. But all these systems, whether it's mucous membranes, whether it's the so-called humoral immune defense, which includes antibodies, the cellular immune defense, which includes white blood cells, killer cells, lymphocytes, and so forth. All these systems require nutrients to be best at their job. And those nutrients, from my point of view, are the ones to really mention here as Canadians coming out of winter. So vitamin D, vitamin C, broad spectrum mineral, and also B vitamins. Those we should definitely focus on right now.
Yeah, there's a lot we can do to support our immune system, that's for sure. And a lot of people really struggle with a bit of a compromised immune system. You know, you hear from people that they're catching colds and flus all the time. What do you think are some of the key stressors to our immune system?
Well, next to what we just said, like low levels of key nutrients, stress, diet, and lifestyle are the key features that we can control. I mean, stress has huge impact on our immune system, compromises our intake, our digestion, and with that bioavailability of key nutrients. And it also seems to increase our daily requirements. The more stressed we are, the more B vitamins we need to kind of deal with everything that hammers in on us. Diet, you can imagine processed foods, foods that contain pesticides, herbicides, or other chemicals need to get processed and take away attention of our resources for this processing of these unnatural food ingredients. Sugars, I mean, over the last few years, carbohydrates and sugars have really kind of showed their ugly face, and they very directly influence our immune activity. So avoiding high carb foods, soda pops, refined carbohydrates and sugars as much as possible will subsequently strengthen your immune system. Alcohol also has a negative effect. When it comes to lifestyle, you either move it or you lose it. We got to engage our body's muscle pump in order to help circulation of blood and lymph throughout all tissues of the body, to help all cells not only to get more oxygen, nutrients, and water supplies, but also to help every cell in the body to shed its waste and detox properly. In general, not in this acute situation, I highly recommend to consider detox packages once or twice a year. But I wouldn't do this right now, because whenever you go through a full-on detox with diet or a specific program of supplements or herbs and so forth, you're actually mobilizing a lot of waste through your system, which in that moment actually weakens your immune response.
So wait until the risk is a bit lower
Yeah,
and then engage
right
a detox?
now I would clearly provide all the key nutrients that keep the immune system going.
So what are those key nutrients again that you feel people
Well,
should be taking?
when you look at, I mean, the variety in health food stores is massive.
There's a lot.
Yes, and there's a lot of products out there that, well, there's only, let's say it this way, there's only a few real nutrients or supplements out there that contain the key nutrients that our biochemistry requires. For example, we belong to a species, to only a group of 3 species on this planet that is not able to synthesize vitamin C ourselves. So we have to provide vitamin C through dietary sources. And vitamin C is by itself hugely involved in the ability of our immune system to respond properly. So by using citrus fruits and other high vitamin C foods in slightly bigger portions these days would help this process, or you choose to actually go the supplemental route and use vitamin C, whether buffered or not, 2, 3, 4 times a day to cover your bases. Vitamin D, as Canadians just coming out of the winter, is hugely important for the immune system. There is lots of research how vitamin D is involved in maintaining immune activity, and there's also lots of research that shows that acute stress situations actually makes vitamin D plasma levels drop to the bottom, which means when we go through stressful phases, whether it's worry about this or that, or acute environmental phases or conditions, disease, accident, we need to bump up our vitamin D supplies.
By how much? How much do
Well,
you
that's
recommend that
the
people
big question. I mean, as a health professional, I should tell you that Health Canada recommends 1,000 units of vitamin D per day. I personally believe that that is not enough, especially not as Canadians coming out of 5 months of winter. But I cannot sit here and say, hey, everybody should take 10,000 units every day, because that might be too much for some. But it is my opinion, and I have to emphasize that this is my opinion, that in situations like this that we are facing today and right now, that for the adult individual, 2,000 to 4,000 units a day are safe.
In divided doses?
Nope, doesn't matter for vitamin D at all, can be taken in one shot. You know?
Okay.
When it comes to other nutrients, key nutrients to supply to help the immune system be as active as possible, we've got to look at minerals. Zinc sticks out here as another key mineral for the immune system. Magnesium is a standard recommendation for the North American population anyways, because we know today 80 to 90% are deficient. Magnesium is involved in over 300 metabolic pathways, providing energy, stabilizing insulin, producing hormones, and having all these functions running smoothly will subsequently also aid the immune system, and with it our protection. And finally, stress reduces or increases our requirements for B vitamins. Our diet, even a high vegetable containing diet from my point of view, might not provide sufficient amounts on a daily basis. So when it comes to a standard recommendation to maintain your biochemistry, maintain your immune response as good as possible, using like a B complex, a broad spectrum B vitamin complex, ideally in slow release form, on a daily basis is a no-brainer.
Excellent.
Yep.
So to sum it up, really, it's about proper hygiene, washing your hands, trying not to stress out too much, but be prepared.
Yes.
Follow more of a plant-based, whole foods sort of diet, incorporate more fruits and vegetables, get those phytonutrients, antioxidants, minerals in through diet, and then supplement with vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, and B vitamins. Those are the key foundational ones that you're recommending.
I mean, you can use echinacea or mushroom extracts to further stimulate your immune system. But I always say that if you're lacking zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, and then try to use an immune stimulator, your immune system might get stimulated, but you're almost at a point of choking out.
You're missing the foundation.
Yes,
you need
those
foundation nutrients.
You've got to provide the key nutrients first, and then potentially stimulate to keep your immune system in a higher alert state. No? I think we have to eat clean. That's I mean, if you don't put any kind of environmental toxins, pesticides, herbicides into your system, you don't have to metabolize them and detox them anymore. You're already starting on a clean slate. We got to make better decisions in all levels of life and aim to improve. Nobody is perfect. Nobody's going to start changing diet and lifestyle right now and be clean and proper from here on in. We got to learn about all these different choices, change our ways of grocery shopping, and look for the right sources there. And I always bring up this small example, like aim to improve. For example, if you are used to consuming 5 cups of coffee every day, you know, and you kind of determine coffee to be
a stressor?
A stressor, and also a substance that you don't have to necessarily provide into your system at that many cups a day, then making the conscious decision to use only 2 cups a day, you know, has already, in regards to coffee, improved your intake by 60%. And that is significant.
So wean the toxins out.
Yeah, and kind of
it's a transition.
Move towards better decisions and better choices.
Yeah. Yeah, and I always say find healthy replacements as well. If you're going to take something out, replace it with something healthy that you enjoy.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So
great advice.
In summary, common sense, try to stay calm, look at your life, consider reducing your exposure to the outside as much as possible. And
boost that immune system.
Boost the immune system.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. Excellent advice.
Thank you
so
very
much for being with us today.
Thank you.